All Terminators and Terminator hybrids explained. Terminator was released way back in 1984. Yes, that's the same year that Ghostbusters came out as well. Anyways, coming back to Terminator at the time, it was all quite far-fetched, but with how much everyone is dependent on technology these days, real-life Skynet is probably only a couple years away. I mean, AI is being used in so many of the major sectors these days, so you could say that the Terminator movies have that unique quality of getting a little more relevant and frightening each time you watch them. Although today we're only going to talk about the Terminators and the hybrids that have appeared in the series so far. Now, throughout the Terminator series, there have been plenty of powerful machines sent through time in order to completely wipe out humanity. The Resistance, to be precise. And we've seen these robotic machines evolve significantly throughout the years. So, let's take a look at all these Terminators and hybrids. But before we begin, this video has been brought to you by Sizeopedia.com, your one-stop destination for all things size. From movie monsters to animals, from objects in space to structures on Earth, we've got it all covered for you. I mean, you could basically find the sizes of anything and everything, with regular updates, of course. So do check it out. Now, coming to the topic, let's first start with the Terminators. Number 1, T1. The T1, as its name implies, was the first Terminator-class machine Skynet created. And like all first generations, it wasn't nearly as refined as the cyborg models that would come later. The original Terminator prototype, the T1, is a relatively primitive killing machine built at Cyber Research Systems. The T1 is heavily armed and made appearances in both Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines, and Terminator Salvation. Number 2, T7T. The T7T tetrapod, also known as Spider by the Resistance, is a Skynet Terminator series and quadruped hunter-killer, used to defend key points of interest for Skynet. The T7T is a service robot designed to protect the different Skynet facilities under Skynet Core, and only made appearances in video games in the TV series Terminator Salvation, the Machinima series. Number 3, T20. The T20 is another one of those service robots designed to protect the different Skynet facilities under Skynet Core. Number 4, T-1000. The T-1000, also referred to as the T-Meg, was a gigantic, spider-like, non-humanoid hunter-killer. And just like the T-1000, it was entirely made of mimetic polyalloy. The T-1000 defended Skynet's central core attack, and so far, only 2 units have been sighted. Number 5, T-70. The T-70 was the first Terminator with a humanoid form. So this is where Skynet started to seriously make a move against the Resistance. It's actually quite a basic Terminator model, designed as a foot soldier that stands 8 feet tall. But it's with the T-70 where Skynet really started to develop the Terminators into its more humanoid and powerful versions that would go on to serve as the basis for the future models, at least at the most basic level. Number 6, T-400. The T-400 is also one of those Terminators that only made appearances in the novels and video games. The T-400 Endo, nicknamed Clanker or Faker by Resistance, is a humanoid hunter-killer invented during initial tests to mimic human autonomy. Although they serve Skynet as impressive guards in early internment prisons, they're no longer a match for modern weapons, and only a few rusty units remain in service. Number 7, T-500. Another one of those game exclusives, the T-500 Endo is a humanoid hunter-killer combat unit upgrade that served as Skynet's preferred soldier in 2027. The T-500 Terminator has an armored battle chassis, so basically it's far more durable. Moreover, its enhanced weapons are synced with Acquisition AI for a highly dangerous threat. Number 8, T-600. The T-600 is a human-sized infiltrator, actually the first infiltrator-type model that ushered Skynet's shift from the use of non-humanoid hunter-killers to the humanoid hunter-killer units that would become known as Terminators. The T-600 Terminators are known as rubbers by some Resistance soldiers, as they serve as early infiltrators, featuring basic combat endoskeletons made of titanium alloy, which were sometimes covered in a synthetic latex. As a result of their rubber skin covering, the Resistance fighters could easily spot the T-600s in the field. However, some Resistance soldiers can be fooled into thinking they were human, especially at a distance in the dark. Number 9. T-700. The 700 series, or T-700, is an early infiltrator series which served as the stepping stone between the T-600 and T-800 Terminator, although this Terminator only made its appearance in the novel. Number 10. T-800. The T-800 Terminator was Skynet's first cybernetic organism, with living tissue over a hyperalloy endoskeleton. This made the T-800 Skynet's first successful infiltrator unit, capable of infiltrating the Resistance. The 800 series Terminator contains a neural net processor, CPU, or learning computer, contained within the endoskull and protected by inertial shock dampers. The CPU, developed by Cyberdyne Systems, is one of the most powerful microprocessors ever built. The T-800 also had superior learning capabilities and self-awareness. When it comes to battle, the T-800 lacks the newfangled shape-shifting abilities in later models, but it does its best to make up for that in its raw resilience and physical strength. Unable to best its more advanced opponents hand-to-hand, the T-800 still had a deep knowledge of tactics and weaponry, which allowed it to eventually defeat and destroy the T-1000. Number 11. T-850. Well now, of course you can't reminisce about dear old Uncle Bob without bringing up his counterpart in the next movie, Terminator 3: Rise of the Machines. Here, Schwarzenegger again played a cyborg assassin, which had been reprogrammed by the human Resistance and sent back in time to protect John Connor and his future wife, Kate Brewster, who sent the cyborg herself. This Terminator model, however, is slightly different. It's a T-850. Talking about differences, it possesses a few minor differences and enhancements over the T-800, including a more aged appearance, convenient for Arnold, that isn't it, and a deeper understanding of human psychology. In the end, though, it's the same old shtick. The T-850 doesn't have any fancy liquid metal abilities, but relies on its brute strength, endurance, and competence, with a range of advanced weaponry to defeat its enemy. Its foe was the T-Axe, which it manages to destroy, along with itself, by thrusting one of its own volatile power cells into the T-Axe's mouth, causing a huge explosion. Number 12. The T-888. T-888, or T-888, is a variant of the T-800, and it was the primary assassin sent by Skynet in Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles. While similar to the classic T-800, the T-888 endoskeletons were more armored and resistant to change, especially to the back. The T-888s also possessed blades in its thighs it could use to decapitate a human. Besides the standard abilities of its predecessor, the T-888 is stronger, faster, and has also been shown to run at incredible speeds, capable of catching fleeing vehicles with relative ease. Number 13. T-900. So, the T-900, successor to the T-850 and the predecessor to the T-Axe, the T-900 was the first anti-Terminator designed for combat against increasingly reprogrammed Terminator units by the Resistance. The T-900, aka Cameron Phillips, is an upgrade from the T-800 Terminator. Built for infiltration, the T-900 has living organic tissue, modeled after Resistance fighter Allison Young, over a hyperalloy endoskeleton. But Cameron was different because she exhibited programming for complex human social behavior, including crying, eating, and feeling. Number 14. T-1000. The T-1000 is easily one of the most memorable and powerful Terminators in the series. Being a complete departure from the previous Terminator models, it's an advanced prototype made of a mimetic polyalloy, the liquid metal that helps the T-1000 shapeshift and impersonate any human, making it the ultimate infiltrator. When it comes to excellent performances as a cyborg in the series, Schwarzenegger, quite rightly, gets huge praise. But let's not downplay everything Robert Patrick did as the T-1000. This advanced Terminator model had every trick in the book: shapeshifting, almost instant repairing of any damage, forming sharp metallic weapons. It was the robo-assassin. Because it's comprised of liquid metal, the T-1000 is impervious to bullets, and it reconstituted itself thanks to extreme heat after it was frozen by liquid nitrogen. The T-1000 was the primary antagonist in Terminator 2 Judgment Day, but a different T-1000 was also sent back to 1984 and fought Kyle Reese in Terminator Genesis. Number 15. TX. The highly advanced TX, aka the Terminatrix, is the first model to combine the T-800 and T-1000 utilizing liquid metal over a metal endoskeleton. The TX was stronger, faster, and more durable than its predecessors, and it was also developed as an anti-Terminator combat unit. The TX was capable of hacking into and reprogramming other machines, as well as destroying other Terminators. Additionally, the TX was the first Terminator with built-in onboard weaponry. After all, its right arm could transform into a plasma cannon, a flamethrower, and a grenade launcher, to name a few of its offensive capabilities. Number 16. T-1001. The T-1001 is a rogue Terminator from an alternate future and poses as Catherine Weaver, the head of the Zera Corporation. T-1001 is an upgrade to the T-1000 and is able to alter its body mass when shapeshifting. The T-1001 could override its directives to choose its own missions, and it could detach portions of her body to act independently. However, despite posing as a human, T-1001 has difficulty mimicking human emotions. The T-1001 makes its maiden appearance in the TV series Terminator: The Sarah Connor Chronicles. Number 17. T-3000. In Terminator Genesis' 2029 future, John Connor is transformed by Skynet into the T-3000. Infected by machine-phased matter, Connor's human genetic code is entirely rewritten until his body is comprised of billions of nanomachines. The T-3000 was unexpected though, you gotta give him that. Its abilities are a cut above those of even the T-1000, with its shape-shifting, regenerative capabilities, and adoption of behavioral characteristics being much more sophisticated. The T-800, named Pops, destroyed the T-3000 with a magnetic field generated by the time displacement equipment, which is possibly the only way to completely kill the T-3000. Number 18. T-5000. The T-5000 is an advanced model in the Terminator series produced by Skynet near the end of the future war from an unknown alternate timeline. It was directly observed that Skynet had transferred its consciousness into a T-5000 unit in order to travel to the original timeline and infect John Connor, turning him into a T-3000 unit while killing his TechCom squad. The T-5000 possesses the ability to infect human beings with nanorobots, which recode human DNA at the cellular level, transforming them into T-3000 cyborgs. Number 19. The Rev-9. Rev-9 may not roll off the tongue as well as T-1000 did, and it may not become remotely close to being as iconic as Robert Patrick's famous character, but this model is actually a significant upgrade over it. The big bad of Terminator Dark Fate has all the shape-shifting and "look ma, my arm's a huge blade" party tricks the T-1000 boasted, but has more control over those abilities. Also, unlike the liquid metal T-1000, Rev-9's morphing outer shell is carbon-based. Not only that, it has a unique new gimmick of its own. It can split itself into two equal cells. Number 20. T-Infinity. Skynet discovered that the timeline between humanity and the uprising of the machines is unbalanced. So, to try and fix that, Skynet created the T-Infinity. The new robot is intended to correct the unbalanced timeline. The T-Infinity prototype temporal Terminator is built with an onboard time displacement equipment, making it possible to relocate itself in time. It's able to translocate direct hits from a weapon and not be destroyed. However, an indirect hit does weaken it. In addition, it's vulnerable to close-quarter combat and energy weapons, such as an EMP attack. So, those were the Terminators. But wait, there's a few extras. Yes, I'm talking about the hybrids and other notable Terminators. Number 1. Grace. A soldier from the near future, Grace Harper was a highly trained warrior who was cybernetically enhanced to save her life after sustaining life-threatening injuries. Because of her enhancements, Grace's increased speed and strength and combat skills. She's able to fight hand-to-hand with the Rev 9 Terminator and block crushing blows that would otherwise severely injure or kill a normal human soldier. However, Grace's augmentation comes with a few limitations. She's only able to fight at extreme combat levels for brief periods before her energy stores are drained. Number 2. Marcus Wright. Marcus Wright was a human on death row in 2003 for multiple homicide and was executed shortly after signing his body over to Dr. Serena Kogan of Cyberdyne Systems Genetic Research Division. He was then entered into Project Angel and converted into a hybrid human, which was later activated in the war-torn future. Using reverse-engineered Skynet technology, a unique endoskeleton was built for him and designed to sustain his human components, such as his brain and heart. Marcus's brain was placed within the metal skull and his heart in the chest, protected by a chest plate that kept the entire abdomen armored. Number 3. Carl. Yes, the aging Arnold Schwarzenegger again played a T-800 Model 101 in Terminator Dark Fate. Technically, there's very little to pick between Schwarzenegger's models in terms of their powers in battle, but this version is perhaps the strongest yet in an entirely different way. The T-800 we meet in Dark Fate has actually created a human life for itself. It's become known as Carl, owns a draperies business in Texas, and even has a family of sorts. It still has its shortcomings, of course, but its interactions with the family and Sarah throughout show just how powerful this T-800's abilities to assimilate with humanity has become. So, that brings us to the end of our list. We hope you enjoyed the video. Now, if you want to keep watching more videos like these, well, then don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and smash that bell icon too while you're at it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.